Hi, I'm the Saturday Giant. You're watching SpoonfeedTV.
My name's Phil Cogley. I perform as the Saturday Giant. I started doing the solo thing in 2010. In April of 2010, I released my debut record and did a short run of shows with a full band. I think one thing Columbus has going for it is that there's not sort of just one dominant genre. There's a lot going on. There's a really vibrant hip-hop scene. There's a really cool indie scene. There's a cool folk scene. So there's a lot of, some cities tend to sort of have an identity, like Detroit, for example. The main thing is like garage rock, and that's sort of what the scene coalesces around, whereas I feel like Columbus doesn't necessarily have that identity, doesn't have a set identity, and I think that allows people more flexibility to experiment. I guess I just experiment. Typically the way I write is I will go down into the basement and start toying around with ideas, and I'll jam with myself for a while until I feel like I've come up with an interesting texture, an interesting melody, and then I'll just work to develop it from there. I'm also fortunate that I don't have to seem to work too hard to generate ideas. Like a lot of my ideas come to me when I'm doing something else, like trying to sleep or at work or something. A melody or a rhythm will just sort of pop into my head, and I try to be really good about documenting those at that moment so I don't lose them, and then I can work to flesh them out later.
Is that the same lyrically?
Lyrically, I have to work a little harder because I'm pretty particular about lyrics. I like to do some wordplay and, pay attention to things like meter and the cadence of a line and internal rhymes and things like that. So I have to work a little bit harder on that, although I normally sort of write lyrics to whatever syllables of the melody I've determined, so that gives me a constraint to work within. But I would say that definitely the lyrics are something I spend more time on, probably. Working on writing a full length that should come out. My goal is to release that right at the beginning of 2013. Before that, I'm going to do a brief 25 date tour of the Northeast US in the fall. And then once the record comes out, I'm going to tour throughout the Midwest and the West and the South and the Mid-Atlantic and try to hit pretty much everywhere, and I'll be working with a publicist and really trying to take the next step, I guess. I feel like I'm getting to about the point where I can't really expand much more in Columbus, so at this point it's about taking it outside.
Where can we find you on the web? Where can people find your music? How can they interact with you as the Saturday Giant?
Sorry, I have a very sleek website, thesaturdaygiant.com, that has my music video on it. You can join my mailing list and check out tour dates. Of course, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm all up in that social networking stuff. But yeah, the best portal to get in touch with me and check out what I'm doing is thesaturdaygiant.com.